Hello and welcome. I am Gimba Umar. Tonight, President Buhari vows to ensure Nigeria remains a united country as he gets set to leave for the United States tomorrow on the invitation of President Donald Trump. Members of the Benue State House of Assembly suspend sitting for 1 week over attacks, summoned Governor Ortom to explain worsening security situation in the state. Military arrests commander of Benue State Livestock Guard alleged to be a member of Boko Haram terrorist group. And leaders of North and South Korea agreed to rid the peninsula of nuclear weapons following their historic meeting at the military demarcation zone.
On business news tonight, Central Bank of Nigeria issues security guidelines on mobile banking, pegs USSD daily transactions at 100,000 naira per customer.
On sports news tonight, struggling Heartland FC docked 3 points for assault on match officials during matchday 18 fixture against champions Plateau United on April the 23rd.
And from Abuja, court affirms interim forfeiture of funds linked to former group managing director of the NNPC, Andrea Kubu.
We begin tonight with the president's scheduled departure for the United States of America tomorrow, Saturday, April the 28th, on an official working visit at the invitation of U.S. President Donald Trump. President Muhammadu Buhari is expected to have a bilateral meeting and a working lunch with President Trump on April the 30th. That will be on Monday. A statement from the president's special advisor on media and publicity, Mr. Femi Adesina, says that the meeting is to discuss ways to enhance the strategic partnership between the two countries and to advance shared priorities, including promoting economic growth, fighting terrorism, and other threats to peace and security. Later that day, President Buhari will meet with a group of business persons in agriculture and agro-processing, dairy and animal husbandry. Meanwhile, the president has reassured Nigerians that the unity of the country remains his paramount objective. He offered this assurance while receiving a delegation of the Tijaniya movement at the presidential villa. A statement from Mr. Adesina quotes the president saying, "I will continue to do everything within my powers to unite Nigeria." End of quote. The president commended the group for complementing the government's efforts and bringing socio-economic development and stability in the country by encouraging discipline, unity, and spirituality amongst its members. And in spite of the president's assurances, lawmakers in Benue State are worried about how security agencies have reacted to the killings in the state, which happened at intervals. Consequently, the State House of Assembly has asked Governor Samuel Ortom to appear before it on May the 22nd to brief them on the security situation across the state. The House has also suspended sitting for 1 week following another attack on a church in Logo Local Council on Wednesday night, where 17 persons were killed.
On Tuesday, April the 24th, Makurdi, the Benue State capital, was thrown into mourning when bodies of 2 priests alongside 17 other parishioners killed in a church attack were brought into the morgue. The Benue State House of Assembly reconvenes for a debate on the security challenges in the state, with the lawmakers representing Logo constituency raising concerns about yet another church attack which claimed 7 lives.
Monduklan in Ukembre Gatware council ward of Logo came under attack by this suspected Fulani militia. The old, the young were killed. This happened also when persons who had been displaced from neighboring communities moved into Monduklan and were sleeping in the nearby church and primary school.
A minute silence is then observed in honor of the 19 victims of herdsmen attack in Gwer East, 13 in Guma, and the 7 killed in another church in Logo. One of the lawmakers moved a motion to invite the state governor to appear before it to clear grey areas regarding the killings, a motion which is put to a voice vote.
That the governor of the state should appear at plenary by 10 a.m. on 2nd of May 2018 to brief the House on the security challenges and the way forward. Is that our agreement?
Yes.
And we have also agreed that we are going to suspend plenary for 1 week to show that we are seriously in a very bad mood concerning the killings that have been going on in the state.
Some of the APC lawmakers call for the boycotting of the planned APC Congress in protest against the failure of the party and the federal government to address the killings.
It's an appeal to the people of Benue State who are members of the APC to boycott the Congress at all levels, including at national level, to boycott it, because what is the essence of staying in a party that will not protect your interests? We voted for them, but rather what are harvesting is killings.
Our lives are in danger, and that is what my Right Honorable Avine Agbom is saying. Our life is in danger. The federal government must come to our aid. So what the National Assembly is doing is according to the law, and they can impeach him. He's not a person that is above the law. We voted him. Benue voted him.
For the lawmakers, the endless killings in Benue State and other parts of the country appear to have defied immediate solution and will require a more intensive and decisive action from concerned authorities.
Meanwhile, security forces in Benue State have scored a major breakthrough in the fight against insurgency with the arrest of commander of the State Livestock Guards, Aliu Yaminu, also known as Aliu Tashaku. Mr. Tashaku was arrested today by troops of the 707 Special Forces Brigade in Makurdi for allegedly being a member of the Boko Haram insurgent group. The suspect, who was nabbed with a pump-action rifle and several other rounds of ammunition, is said to be responsible for coordinated attacks on Benue communities, along with his from Borno, Yobe, Bauchi, and Nasarawa states. Mr. Tashaku reportedly infiltrated the security apparatus in 2014 when the then Deputy Inspector General of Police in charge of operations appointed him to head the joint Benue-Nasarawa Civilian Joint Task Force. However, he allegedly used his position to garner intelligence for the attackers. Militia leader Mr. Tewase Akwaza had in an interview with Channels Television in 2016 made allegations of Boko Haram membership against Mr. Tashaku. The persistent killings in Benue State and other parts of the country has been condemned by groups and individuals. This time, it is the Christian Association of Nigeria asking President Muhammadu Buhari to urgently address the issue in the interest of peace and stability. The General Secretary of the association, Reverend Musa Asake, stated the position of the association while speaking at the news conference in Abuja.
Lawlessness and impunity are reigning supreme in Nigeria. While the country is fast heading to a chaos and anarchy, it has never been this bad in the country that had lived relatively peacefully since independence. Over the past few days, harassment bandits, gunmen, and others have mowed down more than 300 people in cold blood only in Benue State alone, to cite an example. While the figure continues to rise by the day, this is not to talk about numerous innocent citizens that were killed in states like Adamawa, Taraba, Kogi, Plateau, and others in the southern region of Nigeria.
Well, Osman Mahmoud, a former Commissioner, Rural and Community Development from Kano State and also a member of the 2014 Confab, joins me from our Abuja studios here on the News at 10. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on the show at this time. Now, tell us what your thoughts are concerning this recent NEC resolution, which seems to be a popular consideration by just about everyone.
Well, I am yet to see the details of the decision. But you don't just wake up and say you banned, what do you call it, this going about by herdsmen feeding their cattle. It's a plan which you have to take time to implement. Where are the ranches? Where are you going to hold them? Where are you going to pick them? How do you pick the grass, then drive everybody in there? You don't just wake up and say, stop, when you don't have plan B on the ground.
Well, I did read about, I did see that document and those resolutions. They did not outrightly ban, just to put a point across to you, they did not outrightly ban grazing. What they subscribe to is full ranching, and as a matter of fact, are going ahead to try to get some states to be interested in that line. But what, in your view, should be the modality for the land acquisition, do you think? Because that part of the resolution by NEC was not clearly defined.
Well, unfortunately, in Nigeria, the more we think we make progress, actually the more we retrogress. Because this, what you call ranches now, they were in existence before. And there were routes from across, even across the old German territory called Cameroon now. There are routes coming into Nigeria and vice versa. There are routes from Niger into Nigeria, only for cattle. I grew up in Kano State to know these routes. They call them Jangali in Fulfulde and Hausa. But today, out of greediness by the modern elite, they have taken over all those places. I know reserving, what they call forest reserve in those days. One of the forest reserves I know in one of our local governments is now a school. But when I was growing up, that's where all the cattle used to go there. They don't have to go from one town to another, creating problem. So now that all these have been taken over, what remains now can hardly be identified, because we no longer even put interest in forest. We used to have, even in the First Republic, we had a minister of forest and natural resources. Somebody who used to represent Southern Cameroon before the partition or before the plebiscite of 1961. But today, you can hardly see anywhere out of those forest reserves. Even the main forests that have been gazetted have been abandoned, and the terrorists are finding a hiding place there. Otherwise, there is no excuse, even for Sambisa. Sambisa is a gazetted forest. Somebody else did not do his job. That's why Boko Haram found their way in there. And you have other forests all over Nigeria. They have been taken over by terrorists. Now, if you want to bring solution to this, there must be something holistic. There must be understanding between the governors and the local government chairman all over the country. Federal government is far distant to start looking into problems at local levels.
Do you think
the state governors and the local government chairman must put their head together and see how they can rescue? Yes, local government chairman. Do
you think, for instance, that ranching is the only option for you? Because if I'm getting it from your submissions now, you don't seem to support ranching. Is that right?
It's not that I don't support ranching. I was telling you, there used to be ranches all over Nigeria, especially northern Nigeria. There are ranches. But these ranches have been taken over by the ruling class. So that's why there is no more ranches anymore. And not only that, after the drought of 1973-74, there was this panic about how to solve the farming problem and how to go into rainy season or dry season farming. And they created dams all over the place. They tampered with the natural flow of rivers. Even Lake Chad, that is, we are accusing global warming, is not actually global warming. We put dams on all the rivers that used to take water at Lake Chad. That's why Lake Chad receded. The only little water that is coming there is coming from Chari Obangi River from Central African Republic. So all these problems created are man-made problems. If the modern ruling class want to solve the problem, they have to understand the problem itself, not just to be this talking in parables. Because the way we are going about
to end it.
We are not likely to
sincere apologies. I'm afraid that we're going to have to leave it at that point. Mahmoud Othman, the former Commissioner for Rural and Community Development, Kano State, and also member of the 2014 Confab. Many thanks indeed for your time and your thoughts. In part 2, after the break, All Progressives Congress sets new date for its congresses as the party's Southwest chapter seeks free and fair governorship primary in Ekiti State. Please stay with us.